Hey everybody, it's John Old Man Outdoors, and welcome to a brief video today where we take a look and make a determination, is this a good tackle box knife? Now the knife we're going to be taking a look at today is made by Imperial. The number is an IMP22. It is one of the Imperial knives out of China, and from time to time I do review knives and different products, primarily focused on someone who perhaps may be on a fixed income, but on the other hand might be able to buy anything that they choose to, but want to spend their money a little bit more wisely. Today we're taking a look at a knife that sells for less than $15, link down below. So come on over here and join me here on the green tablecloth. Let's take a look at the Imperial knife for today. This is the Imperial. The model number, as I said before, is the IMP22. It is the Sodbuster design. We'll talk more about the design in just a moment. This, as I said before, comes out of China now. And it's, I guess this company called the Battenfield, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. The Battenfield company is the one that owns the trademark for this. They're out of Missouri. Now, this knife looks very familiar if you're familiar with the case knives or many other knives that have this Sodbuster style. The Sodbuster style is a single blade, and the blades on this knife right here, the handle itself is roughly 3 3/4 of an inch, and the blade itself is a 3-inch blade with an overall length when it's open of 6.5 inches. So it is a good medium-sized knife. Now let's talk about the build quality just a little bit. The brass brass insert liners is the word I'm trying to think of. It does have brass liners. The springs are steel, and the scales themselves are plastic. It's held together with brass pins. The overall workmanship is satisfactory. I wouldn't call it excellent. The blade itself, even though the blade is straight, it has a tendency to be at an angle over here and push up against one of the sides. You probably can't see it on the screen, but the blade itself is not necessarily centered down the end of it. The pins themselves protrude just slightly. I can pick it up with my fingernail as I walk over or rub over with the fingernail. I can feel them. However, in the pocket, it doesn't make any difference. The shield itself protrudes just slightly, and this is the Imperial version. Now, when Schrade was in the United States, you may recall, they made several brands of knives. The most popular one was Old Timer, Schrade, and Uncle Henry, and along with the Imperial brand. Put in the comment down below which knife that you carried, if you carried one of these knives, Uncle Henry, Schrade, or Old Timer. I always had a propensity to like the Uncle Henry the best. To me, most of their knives had that bone handle, and they just looked so good. Now, the original Imperial line of knives had a carbon steel blade in it for the most part. You could get stainless steel, but most of your Old Timers or most of your Uncle Henry and Schrade line had the carbon steel, which actually I prefer the carbon steel myself. I like the patina that it makes. I also like the ability for the carbon steel to sharpen relatively easy, hold a relatively long edge, and just so easy to sharpen. This knife right here is a stainless steel. I'm not real sure which kind it is. It is stamped here Imperial. And then on the other side, it's got the IMP22 mark on it. Now, up until about 2004, Schrade and Imperial made all their knives in the United States, again, under the name of Old Timer, Uncle Henry, Schrade, and Imperial knives. But since then, they have sold their brand name to overseas manufacturers or to this company right here, made in Missouri. Now, let's talk about the form factor just a little bit. Even though when it's all folded up, the overall length is about 3.5 inches, which, as I said before, makes it a very comfortable carrying knife. I'm not a big fan of the Sodbuster style of knife. I don't particularly like this 90-degree angle right here that just seems to catch my pocket. I'm always putting my hand in my pocket, pulling things out, and I'll tend to grab this on the end of it. I prefer a more rounded pocket knife. I do carry a pocket knife every day. I've carried this one now for about a month. It is a good knife. It is a good knock-around knife. But again, I don't particularly like this Sodbuster style, and this is not unique to the Imperial knife. Any knife that has this Sodbuster style, as far as I know, is going to have that right angle click on it. This does have a really good snap to the blade. Now let's talk about the weight of the knife itself. We'll go ahead and put it on the scale. The knife by itself is 1.8 ounces. or 52 grams. Now let's get back to the initial reason of this video. Would this make a good tackle box knife? Now, I'm a firm believer that everybody should be carrying a pocket knife. And, you know, pocket knives and tackle boxes, tool boxes, and so forth are just almost a necessity in my world. Does this make a tackle box knife? I don't really think it does, and here's the reason why. It really doesn't do anything particularly well. For filleting, it doesn't make a good fillet knife. Cutting line, there's just better options today to cut line with. If you need to get inside and dig something out, I don't particularly like this style of blade. I like more of the clip point blade better than this one. But if you're looking for a general knife, just something to carry around, single blade, that you don't have to worry about keeping sharp 4 or 5 different blades, you just want to keep it down to one, you could probably do a lot worse than this Imperial knife. But I don't know that if you already have other knives, I don't know that this will be the first knife that you probably need to go out and buy. Anyway, that kind of wraps up. Again, leave a comment down below about what is your favorite style of knife. Do you like the Sodbuster knife? And if so, tell me why. If not, tell me a good reason why you don't particularly like the Sodbuster knife. Anyway, that wraps up the Imperial knife review for this part. Stay tuned. Well, no, it was a quick review of a knife. It wasn't a bad knife, just not probably one of my favorite knives that I've ever had. But if you're looking for something to kick around the boat or the pocket or the tackle box, probably could do worse than that. Certainly could do a lot better. Leave a comment down below about what you think about carrying pocket knives in your tackle box. Hey, until we meet again, this is John, Old Man Outdoors, encouraging you to get out and enjoy God's great outdoors. We'll see you on the next video.